it's Lisa from budgetequestrian.com, and today I'm going to show you how I make paddock cake horse treats.
I don't know if you've ever seen these paddock cakes horse treats. They're incredible. My horses love them, but they're also really expensive. For this size of a container, it was $20. So I wanted to see if I could make them on my own. So the first thing I got was molasses and some ground flax seeds. I also got all bran buds. I couldn't find wheat bran, so I figured let's try this with all bran cereal. And I also got Figi apples to add to it. And these apples work great for using on a cheese grater. They grate really easily, much better than Red Delicious apples. So I really like the Figi apples. And of course, can't make horse treats without old-fashioned oats. Another important part for this is cracked corn. It's hard to find cracked corn, so we got a big bag of it, and also the peppermint Starlight mints. And this is a nice little muffin tin. They're 1 ounce muffin. It's a 1 ounce size muffin tin. This is what I made these horse treats in to duplicate the paddock cakes horse treats. And even though you don't have to grease it, I did spray some spray on grease on it. So for this recipe, I wasn't really sure what I was doing. I just wanted to see what was going to happen. So I just started adding stuff at about a cup to 2 cups of each item of the flaxseed, of the all bran, and also of the oats. Then I just kind of mixed all of that together just to kind of see what it would be like. Then I decided it's time to grate some apples. When you're grating the apples, don't get any of the apple seeds in. And I've made another horse treat video before. Just as a reminder, the apple seeds actually have arsenic in them. So you don't want to give apple seeds to your horse. I know they're huge animals and they could probably handle it, but I think it's better to err on the side of caution and don't put any apple seeds in your horse treats. So for this amount of horse treats that I'm making, I used 2 large size Figi apples. And then I added it was probably about a cup of cracked corn. And again, I didn't have any rhyme or reason. I just kind of was mixing everything together, and I had to use a bigger container because I was outgrowing my mixing bowl. So again, I just started mixing all of that stuff together, and I did add some water because I want it to stick together. And then I was kind of looking at the consistency of it and then decided now it's time for the molasses. This mix actually mixes up really easily, and the molasses was nice because it kind of binds everything together. I did also add some granulated sugar. You don't have to add that, but again, I was trying to add things that I thought would bind it together because, of course, on the horse treats that I bought, they don't tell you what the ingredients are, is like how much is of what. So I just kind of winged it, and I think they actually turned out really good. So once I have everything mixed up, then I'm going to put it into my little muffin tins. These are 1 ounce size muffins that they make. You don't have to worry about them rising. There's no ingredients that are going to make this rise. So you can make it as full as you want. I wanted to have it be right at the top. So then I just kind of smooshed it down with a spoon into the muffin tin. And this made so much horse treat mixture. Then I decided, well, let's try and make some horse treats without the muffin tins, because the muffin tins were actually already full and I only had 1 of them. And it worked really well, even with just making basically like horse cookies. I just dropped this by spoon size onto a cookie sheet that I did, use the spray on grease for. And then I just kind of formed them a little bit with my hands to make them like little ball shapes, to make them pretty, because, we want to make sure our horse treats are pretty for our horses because we love them. So, and again, you don't have to worry. These aren't like cookies. They're not going to raise. So you can just keep them, get them as close together so that you have more cookies on the cookie sheet. And once I did that, then I put them into the oven. I baked these at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. And they take about 10 to 15 minutes to bake. They don't take very long at all. And after about 15 minutes, I pulled out the 1 horse treats that look like, they're in the muffin tins. And I took a Starlight mint, the peppermints, and I just pushed them down into the center of each of the horse treats. And I let these cool for just a few minutes. And then once they were all cool, I pushed the peppermint down into the center of it, of every one, which basically gave about 5 minutes or so for the horse treats to cool down. And then I removed them from the muffin tins, and they actually came out really easily, but they didn't get all melty like horse treats that I had made before in the past. So these actually turned out really perfect. The only difference I could see from my version versus the paddock cakes version is the paddock cakes version was a little bit darker in color, but these actually look just like the paddock cake ones. So I was pretty proud of myself. Again, I just took them out. I actually picked them up by the peppermint and I set them on a piece of parchment paper because that was what I had, and allowed them to completely cool down before I put them into a container, and especially before I fed them to my horses because I didn't want to burn their tongues. Once I had the first batch done, then I wanted to see what these guys were like, just the cookies that I did without the muffin tin. And again, they came out really nice too. I ran out of Starlight mints, so these are just basically, horse treats, but they don't need a peppermint candy on every single horse treat. So they actually turned out really well. I was really happy with the consistency of them. They worked great. So there's not really any right way or wrong way to do this. And as you can see, I'm filling up the container, and it completely filled up the container that I had. So then I had to find actually 2 more containers to fill up with all of the yummy horse treats that I made for Frisbee and Ethan. And I had to leave 2 out because I had to take them out to test and see if my ponies liked them. And of course, Frisbee thought that was just the greatest thing ever. He didn't seem to notice a difference between the store-bought horse treat and the homemade horse treat. Ethan wasn't sure about it at first, but then he kind of was like, "Oh, you're going to give me a treat?" And he was super happy about his treat as well. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I can't wait to see you again tomorrow.